Hi guys, Maciej from wondrous world of Romanesque. Recently I came across this wonderful book, Physiologus, a medieval book of nature lore. After reading this book, I was deeply convinced that medieval builders were impacted by such books. So let's compare both. Sculpture and literature. Should be fun. Let's jump in.
The animals belong to God's creature. Why did God created a lion? What is the meaning of a lion? Why a monkey has a tail? Do these questions bother you? So let's get an answer on this question and jump in. It is true, there are serpents so huge that they devour stags and swim across the ocean. There is the bestia Kenokraka, with an ass's body, the horns of an ibex, the chest and mouth of a lion, a horse's hooves but cloven like an ox's, a slit from the mouth that reaches the ears, an almost human voice, and in the place of teeth a single solid bone. I saw the lamp, to which the name was given as if in recognition of its purity and godness. In fact, the noun agnus derives from the fact that this animal agnoskit. It recognizes its mother and recognizes her voice in the midst of the flock, while the mother, among many lambs, of the same form, with the same bleating, recognizes always and only her offspring and nourishes him. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. The monkey represents the very person of the devil, since he has a beginning but has no end. That is a tile. And he is quite ugly in the region where he lacks a tile, just so the devil has no good end. And Nebuchadnezzar was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. And the Lord delivered Jehoiakim, king of Judah, unto Nebuchadnezzar's hand, along with some of the articles from the temple of God. This he carried off to the temple of his God in Babylonia, and put in the treasure house of his God. The main nature of the lion is that, although he has fallen asleep, his eyes keep watch for him, for they remain open. The rosy morn was risen from the main, and horns and hounds awake the princely train. They issue early through the city gate, where the more wakeful huntsmen ready wait, with nets and toils and darts, beside the force of Spartan dogs and swift Maciej horse. They cry pursues the mountain goats. They bound from rock to rock and keep the craggy ground. Quite otherwise the stags, a trembling train, in herds unsingled scour the dusty plain, and a long chase in open view maintain. David says in Psalm 102, "Your youth will be renewed like the eagles." Physiologus says of the eagle that when he grows old, his wings grow heavy and his eyes grow dim. What does he do then? He seeks out a fountain and then flies up into the atmosphere of the sun, and he burns away his wings and the dimness of his eyes, and descends into the fountain and bathes himself 3 times, and it restored and made new again. Therefore, you also, if you have the old clothing and the eyes of your heart have grown dim, seek out the spiritual fountain, who is the Lord. And behold, another beast like a bear had 3 ribs in the mouth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. When the snake comes to the river to drink water, he does not bring with him the poison which he bears in his head, but he leaves it in his pit. And when we hear the divine and heavenly word in church, we ought not to bear poison along with us.
As the physiologist says, lion does never sleep. He watches the entrance to the churches. He should prevent entering the evil or entering the temples. This is the most significant instance how medieval builders adapted literature to the architecture. This is also a hint to us that we, our souls, should remain aware towards evil. I hope I could encourage you to study both literature or architecture. We see us soon. Bye.
To think the world of you, but somewhere down the line we changed and we grew and we fell out of touch as time goes by. Still I'm holding on to you. I know that it's time for me to let you go. I know that it's time for us to part.